All right. The second most important tip I have for beginning guitarists, especially if you are self taught, is to sit down and start training your fingers. Because the thing is, the most pain in the ass, the thing I hate the most is being at the state where I'm trying to do something instead of just doing something. And if you look at guitar chords, right? My bad, I'm burping. Sorry about that. So, if you look at guitar chords, oh, sorry. If you look at guitar chords, they're a map where you put your fingers, okay? Simple as that. If you try, the real struggle is making things sound right. The real struggle is transitioning between chords to make music, right? Because if your fingers are like touching other strings, it doesn't ring out musically. So the most important thing I would say is get some finger dexterity. Now, they go on and on about doing spider exercises, but as a beginner, these spider exercises are way too intense for me and no good. So what I did instead was I just sat down, watched a YouTube video, and just started moving my fingers across, right? Across the fretboard, touching each string one by one. So that's what I would say. And then do that with all of them. But then, once you get comfortable with that, the next thing I would say is I've been taking my index finger and then my ring finger. And then, I see it's kind of hard for me. But I've been taking my index finger and moving it together. Oh, my bad. I've been taking my index and my ring finger and moving them together. Why? Because for whatever reason, even as I do it now, like my middle finger and then, oh, sorry, I'm butchering this. So I've been taking my index finger, my ring finger, moving them in unity across different strings, and then doing the same thing with my middle finger and my pinky. Why? Because when I do this, it's hard as hell for me, man. Like, my brain has to work. And that tells me there is a deficiency. Because the way I see it is, you could sit down and learn guitar or learn songs. But what's really more important is getting your fingers like, I don't know if it's octopus or squid. But one of those two, each tentacle has like its own brain, right? And you kind of want your fingers to move on their own. Like, you don't want to think about moving your fingers. You just want to move your fingers. Not, you know what? Not even want to move your fingers. You just move your fingers. You will it and it does. And I think that if you really grind that shit out, making music and playing guitar is like a for sure. It's gonna happen, all right? Because I think the biggest struggle is just having the finger dexterity to even play the guitar, not necessarily the chords or whatnot. Because the thing is, when you play guitar and you make a song, most songs are 4 chords repeated in loop, all right? If you want to start singing and playing guitar, you just start, learn 4 chords and then mix and match, and those are different songs every single time. And then how do you add some personality and spice? You try different strumming patterns, but then even then though, that would be an exercise for your right hand. In your right hand, you would do things like different strumming patterns and different arpeggios, because chords are like Lego blocks that you mix and match to make songs. Anyone can learn to play the guitar, all right? If you go on Google and then you pick the 4 easiest guitar chords, you can learn that shit in like 30 minutes. Now, and just because you learn it doesn't mean you can play it, because the thing that's a struggle is the finger dexterity, all right? The finger dexterity is what I think separates someone from being able to make music versus someone trying to make music, all right? So if you're able to do that, do chord transitions on a metronome beat, That's music to me. As if your fingers are evenly spaced, right, and you're able to hold the chords, that's music. You know, it's not noise, all right. But if your fingertips, like your finger flesh, is touching the chords, yeah, it's not gonna ring out nicely. So that's my second tip. Is I would say ignore the YouTube noise. Start grinding your finger dexterity. Like sit down and do your best to get your fingers to the point where you could just move them effortlessly. You know what I mean? Like on some Mozart shit. Like you don't have to think too much. You just move that shit. Not even like you don't even have to like memorize the fretboard. That could come later, you know, because you know if your fingers can't. Let's say you're trying to learn scales and whatnot. Well, if your fingers are slow, it's a terrible experience because you have to constantly send a signal to your fingers to move, right? Especially the pinky and maybe like the ring finger. Bro, like chances are like they have never moved like that in your life until you picked up the guitar, all right? Like chances are your pinky has never moved in that way. And you have to have the ability to hold, right? 4 of these frets, man. And that takes time, bro. You're gonna feel your finger. And the other thing is you have to do that shit relaxed. You can't have tension. And so I definitely say like watch a YouTube video and just grind out like your fingers, like finger training, man. All right, bye.